God be with you, lad. What can I do for you?
My lord, I managed to find a clue to the whereabouts of the bandits.
Excellent. Bern had already told me what's been happening, but I'd like to hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
The whole story, or just the gist of it, sir?
It's up to you what you consider important.
One of the Neuhoff stable boys, a lad they called Ginger, fled from there and hid out with some charcoal burns. That's to say, there's a lot of them around. I never thought how many forges and ironworks they have to supply.
That's true, but keep to the point.
Oh, yes, sir. I had quite a job finding him. He was well hidden and with good reason. The bandits wanted to kill him because he recognised one of them.
Did he tell you what happened?
He said it wasn't one gang, but two. And one of them took fright when the slaughter started. Seems they were only interested in loot, so they quarrelled with the other lot. Then it came to a skirmish in the woods and one of them was killed. And the rest of them scattered.
And did you find out where they went?
All I know is one of them is from Ujits. I know enough about him to be able to track him down.
All right, but those cutthroats must know who he is too, right? And if they want to get revenge on him or silence him, you better hope they don't get to him before you. So drop everything and get on his trail. Find out what he knows and then report back to me. I'm going to our encampment at Malhaya to oversee the security of the region.
Yes, sir.
God be with you.
Good day to you.
I found Ginger.
Why should I take him back? It might be his fault I had to bury my husband.
What?
Why else would he flee but guilt?
That's not true. He fled because one of the...
Those are just excuses.
But they came back the very same day. If he hadn't run, they'd have killed him and everyone else.
Why would they do that?
Why not? They'd already murdered
And now I'm supposed to take him back? What if they come back?
The cutthroats who were after him have been taken care of.
And what about for revenge?
There's no need to fear vengeance. The bandits who will...
But what if they find out some...
The only way they could find out would be a holy vision. Anyway, I reckon that...
Well... Oh, take care.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. You can return home. It was hard work to convince them.
Thank you. I'd like to give you something, but I've got nothing. If you're ever traveling by way of Neuhof, stop by and I'll show you some.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
God be with you.
I'm looking for a fellow who lives here, but
What would you want with him? Well, it's no skin off my nose.
is there anything
Indeed, just last night, Father Godwin was here, calling fire and brimstone down on old Gertrude, the herb woman. He's not one to make a fuss over some trifle either. And there's more. Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the groom has been up to at the stables. When the head groom told the lads here, they fell off their seats laughing.
Is there somewhere I could sleep here?
Aye, there's room here. For how long?
Just the one night?
Sure, but let's see your coin first. These are harsh times.
Here you go.
You all like it here. Like sleeping on a cloud it is.
Where do I go to...
You'll have no trouble finding it. Right inside the door to the building, there's a ladder up to the loft. Your bed's ready there, and a trunk for your belongings. God be with you.
Jesus Christ, be... Good luck to you.
I could do with a bite to eat.
God be with you. Farewell.
Good health to you.
I'm looking for a fellow who...
Aye, there is one fellow with a limp. God be with you.
What are you doing here?
Has something happened?
What in...
Hey, who's there?
That sounded like... looking for someone? Hey!
I'm looking for a fellow.
Must be that farmhand, Lubosh. I don't know what the hell you'd want him for, and I don't much care. He's got a...
Jesus Christ be praised. Farewell.
Can we do something about the price?
Aye.
Agree?
I'd almost shake on that. Almost.
What do you say to this?
Close.
Very well.
Good luck to you.
I'd like to discuss...
Aye?
Is this enough?
That's better.
I'll go for that. Is someone there?
Come right up. Fresh cabbage, carrots, onions, radishes. Everything you need for a proper soup.
God be with you.
I'd like to learn to...
You? You don't look like the makings of a priest or clerk. Bear in mind, it won't be all that easy. You'll need plenty of time and if...
All right. I don't want to waste time. We can...
Very well. I will require some groschen from you, though, and set aside at least a couple of...
Here are your groschen.
Then we may as well start. No. He did break his vow, but better than to dishonor it here. May he follow his heart. Wake up, lad. It's time we were getting on. So, let's see you read a bit. There's a book here on the table. Try to read it.
Will I manage?
You ought to be able to. It's a simple text. Come back once you've worked your way through it.
I've read the book.
Wonderful.
That being greedy doesn't pay.
Excellent. You're one of my most talented pupils. Like I told you, books are valuable. And the words that you...
Does that mean that I can read?
Yes, you have the foundation. Remember, my boy, the pen is mightier than the sword. To foot... Now we'll move on to the second lesson, which will be much harder. Many books are written in Latin, the language of erudite and religious men. If you really want to be able to read, there's a book on the table with some text. Read it and then come back.
I only just managed the fable about the goose, and now you're asking me...
You're a clever lad.
I read the page.
So tell me.
Nullus est liber tam malus, ut non alique parte prosit.
Good heavens! Don't tell me you haven't had lessons before. Excellent.
Thank you, Domine.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
That's what you call nothing to see. I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skalitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh. Or all that's left of him.
Sacre. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Has he been up to anything since?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now. And nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
Another thing about Lubosh. Judas. Looks like this is meant to be a warning. But for who? And why? Maybe the gang had a falling out. But a bandit who knows how to write isn't something you see every day. What's this? Looks like someone's hit him very hard on the head. Could they have bludgeoned him to death and then gutted him? That would explain why he didn't scream. Lord above, they did a hell of a job on him. Must have been agony. How come no one heard anything? Nothing unusual. Nothing unusual. Nothing here. Nothing here. A bed. A bed. Nothing here.
My respects to you. Good luck to you.
Bussen w ten domek.
You'd better... Jesus Christ. You're
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa. I'm investigating the mass...
I don't know how I can...
Who was this Lou?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time, and then yesterday he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad...
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day north?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all.
God bless.
my respects to you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa.
Sir Hanush,
That man Lubos.
he was a strange one, always drinking.
Have you noticed anything suspicious?
I didn't see much of him lately, not even in the tavern. Not until yesterday in...
Do you know what Lubos was doing the day?
I don't think he was home at all. Wait, are you saying he...
Do you know anyone Lubos you...
I really don't know. As far as I know, he had no...
That's all.
May the Lord watch over you.
Good God. What happened to your...
I've come in the name...
Ask away.
Who was this Lu...
He was a drunkard and a beast. And lazy too. Idle hand.
Have you noticed anything suspicious?
The only thing seemed suspicious was how a rogue like...
Do you know what Lubos was doing the day Neuhoff?
What do I care about that scoundrel?
Do you know who Lubos...
He was always a loner.
That's all.
Take care.
Good day to you.
I've come in the name of...
Ask all you want.
Who was this Lubos who...
Those that live by the sword, die by the sword.
Have you noticed anything?
Everything about him was suspicious. I always gave him a wide berth.
Do you know what Lubos was doing the day Neuhoff was...
How would I know?
Do you know who Lubos...
I don't know, since I don't...
That's all.
God bless.
What the?
God be with you.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanush of Lipa.
I don't know nothing about...
That man Lubos who...
I didn't really know him.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
Come to think of it, he was in church. I was wondering what he was up to.
Do you know what Lubos was doing the day...
I was coming from the tavern very late that night, and he looked like he was in a hurry. Yet...
Do you know anyone Lubos...
Not with anyone from the village. He used to sit in the tavern next to...
That's all.
Yeah.
I see you know how to... I wouldn't have expected...
With a stick. I practiced with a stick. Reminder of my youth and days gone by.
The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanush is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy.
Did you know Lubos?
Bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart...
Did you notice anything suspicious?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubos...
That's really not a lot of help to me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubos was doing?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to...
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that for...
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son. And one of those is the sanctity...
Father, surely you can't be serious.
There are things that apply always.
But Lubosh is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone of the Holy Church. If people believe the sanctity of the
Worse than the death of innocent Christians?
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he... If I don't find out who it was...
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the... Suppose we talk it over in the evening. In the tavern.
All right.
God be with you.
Do you have any work?
My dear lad, I have more worries than I can... I have to deal with a local...
A witch?
The herb woman, old Gertrude.
Oh, don't tell me. The cows are giving blood instead of milk, and babies are being born.
This is no laughing matter. Gertrude isn't evil. She just has peculiar ideas about what's good for people.
And what's the problem?
As long as herb women stick to giving psychic to folk and bloated cows, assisting in childbirth, or burning incense in bedrooms to help with sleep, then nothing at all. But this is sacrilege, and it's unsafe. All sorts of molds and lichens and poisonous plants and other foul...
What do you want me to do?
I want you to go and see her and find out what she's been up to. I know she lives in fear of the Holy Church, so tell her I sent you. That will make her talk and think twice if you learn that she truly did involve folk in some...
Consider it done.
Good. And never fear. I'm a man. Take care now.
Can I sleep here?
Certainly. For how long?
Just the one.
All right.
Here you are.
You'll like it. I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But first I'd like to hear something about...
I'm from Skalitz.
Oh.
They're dead.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovna. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but they...
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanush to send that old grouch, Bernard.
He did, but I found a witness and the trail led here to Ujit, so he sent me here to follow it up.
Ah, well, congratulations. It's nice to see someone using their head to find things out instead of torture. We'll have to drink to that. Now the most important thing. What actually happened at Neuhof? The good folks hear about...
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword.
You know what they say. The Lord...
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to... These days, of course, it's just a bit of
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get... So, about this confessional seal.
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions, because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Lubosh told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits isn't Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard.
the best.
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. A tongue-lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them.
I'd like a beer.
They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs. While Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman?
No, I don't.
What do you think of this, Jan?
He's certainly a wise man. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop.
Where can I find out more about?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them.
What do the common folk?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up, and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe?
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite...
What do you suppose?
Ah, that sounds like a good...
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Przyszła bida mora lat, to nie ustoi żadnej chlap. Na kraj panu dziesnej smutek, do mnie loi rano utek, niech ich małżeński majstrat, do wczorajszylne staje prak. Už sejmoj svatý muži, nechtěl bych bejbě jí kůži. Nám je to jedno a tak si dáme jedno a požerem si huby jako poslední jen. Buďme s vámi, panorama slávy a tak vypal sudy a posaď se mi sem. Tak posaď se sem a vypal je ven. Ukaž kozy jako vozy, zejtra jen tu soudnej den, tak nalej mi hned a točí se svět.
Enough of this!
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can write is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out. Oh.
Oh. You looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
Come on then, bailiff. You want
Oh,
to fight? Come and get it. Don't worry. I won't give you
Topsy-giri.
Take that.
Fuck it.
Had enough of life, have you?
Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself. Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath. And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Godwin, you old goat.
Come here.
The priest has mounted up. What do you say, Henry? Shall we take a little ride of our own?
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. My guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Wait, before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh, shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me.
I'd like to help you, but...
You can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look. From what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night.
And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Well, all right. But I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do, exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well...
Christ almighty.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
Huh?
I thought he'd never show up. The swimp.
Look at him. He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God. Any minute now he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hac facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skalitz, who is here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuha. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where, by the grace of God, was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So, Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
Well,
Greetings, brothers and sisters in Christ. I am here to tell you about Mother Church and to show you through my words how she is falling into decay and abandon, how the once great mother of all Christians is losing her dignity and trading in souls like the merchants in the temple. But I am digressing.
that whelp wants to preach about the church.
Creation has given to every man the power by which he might rule the whole world. But that power does not give him the right to rule.
That right belongs to God alone. It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, enemies, injustice, hunger and chaos, failed harvests, fires, floods and other catastrophes. And it is all due to the corrupt servants of God who do not practice what they preach. They think sins can be washed away by money, and they sell indulgences, and that's bad, because sins cannot be redeemed with silver.
Prague didn't do much for his confidence.
And what sins? They live with harlots and keep concubines, even though only marital intercourse for the purpose of procreation is pure. If someone takes a woman or man only to satisfy their own lust, who seduces them to do so but Satan? And how much darker the sin if that man is a servant of the church? Who can turn his face to God, who fornicates and then puts on priestly robes?
Nothing we don't know about already.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates. Away with them.
We're fortunate to have our good Father Godwin. At least he's a fair and simple man.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Oi! All honour to Godwin! Let him drink like one of us!
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Have you no shame, you pair of buffoons? I'll be writing to the bishop of this. For shame.
Utterly blasphemous.
Can you believe such behaviour? For men of the cloth to get drunk at...
So, is our deal still on?
Are you pulling my fucking pizzle? I couldn't have done worse myself if I'd puked on the altar.
Well, I'm no preacher.
Yeah, I noticed. And I wasn't the only one.
You can't be serious. After all that.
All what? All you making a complete hash of my sermon? You were supposed to help, not get me into even more trouble. Now I'll have the bishop on my back and all the villagers. Just leave. I need to pull myself together.
And what am I supposed to do?
Find someone else to help you.
Hey, you! Halt! Surrender! You've committed a crime, and I'm arresting you.
Help! There's a brawl there! Call me off each other! Hey! Fellas beating each other over there! Do something about it! Help! There's a brawl there! Pull them off each other!
You made a mistake getting on the wrong side of me.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
Surrender!
Stop that nonsense,
You
God.
committed a violation. You're under arrest.
Say what they
I'm
look.
gonna enjoy this. You're dead. Gone weak at the knees, have you? Bring it on. Yeah! You'll get what for.
So, my dear, wouldn't you like to have a little ring on the bell? No sooner said than done.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry?
Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of...
Surrender! You've committed a violation.
Godwin.
No, neither.
What do you want me to...
I'll go. No need.
Christ almighty.
Wonderful.
Greetings, brothers and sisters, and how the once great mother of all...
That whelp wants...
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's plague, enemies, and it is all due to, they think sins can be...
Prague didn't do much for...
It is the custom of the gluttonous prelates and monks to preach against sin. But what do they know of us ordinary folk? Let us remember the marriage at Cana, where our Lord Jesus Christ himself feasted with the other guests and drank his fill. And when the wine was gone, he performed a miracle and created more. He, whose companions were poor travellers, simple folk...
Now that's the kind of sermon...
No, brothers and sisters. Jesus did not condemn alcohol. Drink to lighten the cross you bear in this vale of tears, but not with such abandon that you cannot keep holy the Sabbath. For there should be moderation in all things, and it is not drinking itself that is sinful, but intemperance and beastly indulgence.
He's right.
Enough about sin, and whose absolution... What if the devil himself were to pay? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgence, they play dice. Look to your conscience.
Down with the prelates!
We're fortunate to have our good...
God sees what... Blessed are the...
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of...
That is all I...
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that was.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a
I'm
silver
glad he
tongue.
came here. I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, and he told it nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony. And fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosh tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubosh kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubosh killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
Hey, you! Don't move a muscle!
Yeah.